I was a film critic for a college newspaper, and they used to reimburse us for the price of the tickets for the movies we reviewed. But if you used your MoviePass, you weren't actually paying for the tickets. So you could make like $12.
It was a great point in my life where I could literally just go to any movie theater in the country and see pretty much any movie for free.
Any kind of movie at any time, unlimited times. I was like, why would you not do this?
Hello and welcome to Blackout Dates, a podcast investigating the rise and fall of beloved subscription service MoviePass. I'm your host, Zach Gelfand.
And I'm Spencer Roth-Rose. You probably remember that little red card you carried around in your wallet for a while a few years back. It was a debit card that you paid $10 a month to hang on to, and with it you could see just about any movie you wanted, whenever you wanted, wherever you wanted. And it was all free.
The MoviePass years were a golden era of moviegoing, some might even say a golden era of youthfulness in general. For a second there, we had a glimmer of hope. Then, in the summer of 2018, it all came crashing down.
MoviePass is shutting down permanently amid bankruptcy.
MoviePass is officially no more.
Seemed too good to be true. Turns out it is.
It looks like it's finally over. It's finally 100% done. MoviePass is no more.
Before we get into that, I think it was Lewis Carroll who said something like, "The only logical way to start a story is at the beginning." So, a bit of background.
Although it was initially founded in 2011 and quickly named one of the 25 most disruptive apps of 2012 by Business Insider, MoviePass didn't really catch fire until August 2017. This was around the time that the company was bought by data analytics firm Helios and Matheson. The new leadership promptly announced an absurd-sounding deal to any new subscribers: the ability to effectively see one free movie in theaters per day for the low price of $9.95 per month. This was an 80% drop from its previous price point, and opportunistic movie lovers began signing up for the service in droves. Here's how it worked.
MoviePass mails you a debit card. The day you want to see a movie, you head over to your local theater and check it on your phone. The money for the ticket is loaded onto your card. You then buy a ticket, and MoviePass actually foots the bill. The only real caveats are that you can only buy one ticket a day, and it doesn't cover specialty showing. The average cost of a movie ticket across the country is roughly $9. If you see 2 movies a month, you save around $8. So the more movies you see, the more money you save.
They did stimulate a lot of business, but essentially you were buying something that was too good to be true.
This is Russ Collins, executive director of the State and Michigan Theaters in downtown Ann Arbor, Michigan, where I went to college and used my MoviePass all the time.
I don't know why they didn't increase the price. I mean, they would have lost customers, but they still could have, created the balance. As a small business person, I understand it intellectually, but I don't really understand it viscerally. You can't sell something for less than it costs.
By February of the following year, the service had amassed more than 2 million subscribers, having doubled in size in just 7 weeks. 18 weeks after 2 million, they hit 3 million. Under the fearless leadership of their CEO, Netflix co-founder Mitch Lowe, MoviePass was exploding.
But even as it was becoming a household name, there was a sense of the whole thing being a mistake. Like it was a glitch in the matrix we had to exploit before the bug was patched. The business model seemed like an affront to, the concept of business itself. Let's be clear, MoviePass was buying full-price tickets from these theaters and then offering them to subscribers at pennies on the dollar. Each ticket a New York City subscriber got through the app netted MoviePass a loss of $8. And if that user went to the movies every day for a month, MoviePass would take a hit of over $500,000. We couldn't figure out exactly what the company stood to gain by offering us such an unqualified bargain, and we figured it couldn't last. But we were determined to get our kicks in while we could.
The thrilling sense that we were getting away with something was just part of the hold that MoviePass had on us that summer. The behind-the-scenes drama of the company's meteoric rise could be even more entertaining than the movies we were exploiting it to go see. We were watching a company become wildly successful and immediately, in real time, begin struggling with the consequences of that success. The saga was enthralling, baffling, and at times just plain spiteful, like watching Real Housewives of Silicon Valley. And much like the most compelling stars of that reality series, MoviePass seemed to be almost leaning into the messiness.
Let's give you a taste. So, one through line of MoviePass's glorious run was the vibe that they were just making shit up as they went along. In the first half of 2018, new pricing plans and promotions would appear and disappear without any real notice. Suddenly, new subscribers could get unlimited movies for $6.95 a month. Then the next month, they could only get 3 tickets per month, but also a free trial to iHeartRadio. Then the next month, unlimited was back, but for $7.95 a month. It was really the Wild West of movie subscription apps, and you never really knew what you might get from month to month. Neither, it seemed, did MoviePass CEO Mitch Lowe, who stated, "We always just try different things. Every time we try a new promotion, we never put a deadline on it."
And, like any good underdog, they punched way above their weight. In early 2018, after MoviePass tried to partner with AMC, the world's largest cinema operator, AMC went on record saying that the app was unsustainable and bad for the industry. MoviePass then responded by pulling 10 AMC theaters from its service, with the CEO of Helios and Matheson, Ted Farnsworth, saying that he was, quote, 1,000% ready to do battle. He was ready to do battle with the world's largest cinema operator. Sure, the feud meant users didn't know if their local cinema would still be on the app in a week's time, but by that same token, well, we didn't know if the app itself would be around then either.
But my favorite bit of chicanery is the alleged Rotten Tomatoes review scam. This might get a little numbersy, but bear with me, it's worth it. So, in 2018, MoviePass opened up an acquisition arm called MoviePass Ventures. This company co-distributed 3 films that summer, including John Travolta's notorious mafia disaster piece Gotti, and the heist film American Animals. But here's where it starts to get silly. Eagle-eyed Rotten Tomatoes users noticed an enormous discrepancy between Gotti's critic score and its audience score, meaning that critics hated it and audiences loved it. Which isn't weird in and of itself, it happens a lot with movies with hardcore, comics or sci-fi fan bases. But when 68% of the audience likes a movie that exactly 0 critics think is any good? That was the case with Gotti on June 20th, 2018, and it smelled pretty fishy. Zach Sharf at IndieWire crunched the numbers and found that Gotti somehow racked up 7,000 audience reviews, despite grossing just $1.7 million in its opening weekend. For comparison, The Incredibles 2, a critically beloved animated superhero movie that was released that same weekend, earned roughly the same number of reviews in that span, while beating Gotti's weekend box office haul by a factor of almost 100. That could mean one of 2 things. Either Gotti fans were reviewing their film about 94 times as frequently as Incredibles 2 fans were reviewing theirs, or someone was paying for thousands of accounts to write fake positive reviews for Gotti. And most suspicious of all, many of the audience reviewers who raved about Gotti had reviewed just a single other film on Rotten Tomatoes. That's right, fellow MoviePass Ventures product, American Animals.
But wow, the whole thing was just so damn fun. In the summer of 2018, I was going to see movies between 2 and 6 times a week. $9.95 a month to see basically unlimited movies. In New York City, the cost of going to a single movie is closer to $20, which means that without MoviePass, I would have been spending somewhere between $40 and $120 per week throughout that entire summer. I was seeing the biggest action thrillers, foreign films, silent films, adult films, anything that was in theaters, I was going to see it. It was an amazing time for going out of my comfort zone, expanding my taste, and experimenting with films I normally wouldn't have given a second thought to, just because I could.
At least until July 27th. That was the day of the release of Paramount blockbuster Mission Impossible Fallout. Zach and I were coworkers sitting at adjacent desks at the time, and though we kept trying to grab tickets through the MoviePass app that afternoon, every screening was blacked out.
We were so distraught that we didn't get any work done for the rest of the day. What could be going on over there? Was it just a glitchy app, or something more insidious? Here's a pretty good explanation of the situation from a guy named William as he drove to work a few days later.
Happy Monday, guys! It is July 30th. So a lot is going on. First things first, MoviePass had issues on Thursday night. They ended up actually having to take out an emergency loan to pay their movie ticket debit card processor. The deal or the loan basically was for $5 million in cash with 1.2 in interest. So that means it was a $6.2 million loan where $3 million of it is due on August 1st. I'm calling it right here, and I called it on my blog. I give them about a week. So many people are canceling. Folks are fed up with it. They're done. Everyone's done. It's really, really sad, but there you have it.
Turns out, this was indeed finally it. The beginning of the long-foreseen end for MoviePass. Reports soon surfaced that, much like anyone with a basic sense of economics could have predicted, the company had simply run out of cash with which to buy tickets from theaters. We later learned that they had been hemorrhaging money for months, with losses of almost $250 million over just 3 financial quarters of 2018. And the sheer number of fans clamoring to go see Mission Impossible on July 27th ended up draining the very last of MoviePass's coffers. So, the app locked them out.
It was the first blackout date, but certainly not the last. Though the $6 million loan William mentioned was a temporary bailout for Helios and Matheson, their problems were just beginning. From then on, to stem the tidal wave of movie tickets their users were forcing them to buy, MoviePass would black out certain theaters, certain movies, and certain dates seemingly at random. The number of screenings and theaters available on the app plummeted, and so did user confidence. By April of 2019, MoviePass had lost over 90% of its paying subscribers. As quickly as it had risen, MoviePass was falling. After the Mission Impossible fiasco, MoviePass tried to rebrand and relaunch under various new business models to stave off the coming darkness, including limiting subscribers to 3 movies a month and offering new tiered pricing models. This gave some glimmer of hope for the future, and even encouraged my friend Matt to place a big bet on the return of the beloved app with a sizable purchase of stock in MoviePass's parent company, Helios and Matheson.
I saw kind of a miracle opportunity. I was thinking in my mind, there's no way if it stays like this, it'll survive, but maybe since it has kind of it's famous to people our age, even if they restructure and make it more expensive, people will buy in, or at least they'll salvage some sort of their credibility and their sustainability as a company. So I was thinking, hey, if I just kind of drop about $15 to $20 and buy 500 shares, and it goes back up to like $5, I would have made around $2,500. So I was like, hey, for rather than go to the casino or something, or buy an expensive cocktail at a East Village bar, I could just take this chance and maybe make thousands of dollars or $2,000 off of Helios and Matheson.
I know that in Times Square, around the fall of 2018, maybe spring of 2019, there was a big billboard that said MoviePass back and better than ever. Did you see that billboard? What was your reaction to seeing that billboard?
It might be a little embarrassing, but I think I had a sliver of hope when that happened. And I was like, wait, is this actually happening?
But it wasn't enough. The dream officially came to an end in September of 2019, when the app itself shut down for good, and MoviePass ceased operations. By the following January, Helios and Matheson had declared bankruptcy as well.
Now that the app had shut down, subscribers weren't being charged anymore, right? Not according to my friend Shelby, who called to tell me a very different story.
I never canceled it. I just knew, and from hearing the stories of, like, MoviePass is bankrupt or MoviePass no longer works, and people being like, yeah, I canceled. I didn't know I was still being charged, especially with the app being down. I hadn't heard from anybody, but I was still being charged. So it wasn't until maybe 3 or 4 months of me not using MoviePass did I notice, oh, I should try and figure this out, but then I wasn't charged anymore.
While these charges seemed like nothing more than isolated glitches, they felt to some like one last middle finger for MoviePass, ever the shit stirrer even from beyond the grave.
But even during MoviePass's heyday, while subscribers were still enjoying movies like The Florida Project, Annihilation, and Tyler Perry's Acrimony every night for basically free, we couldn't ignore the one question nagging at the back of our minds. How could charging less than $10 a month to fund up to 31 movies be at all sustainable in the first place? We knew the deal seemed too good to be true, but hadn't the MoviePass leadership accounted for this when they developed their business model? What was the plan here? Here's MoviePass CEO Mitch Lowe again, in happier days.
We're buying 1 in every 35 tickets sold in the United States. So in a short 5 months, we're buying, a ton of movie tickets. Whenever you offer an all-you-can-eat program, the first couple months, people go crazy. People want to see every movie that comes out. Eventually you're going to get back to a normal level. The reality is, people are going a lot more than they used to, but it's not as much as you would imagine. The catch is that over time, you're going to get offers and proposals from us, buying the soundtrack of the movie as you walk out of the theater. Making money off of giving you ideas that you might be interested in. Our service is really low because we are going to use our understanding of you as the customer to be able to give you relevant suggestions that you might find valuable in your life.
To paraphrase Breaking Bad heavy Gus Fring, what kind of plan kicks the can down the road, offering vague ideas while leaving the hard parts to be dealt with later? No plan. No plan at all.
Spencer and I knew this couldn't be it. There had to be something else going on here, something more. Something to explain what was really going on in MoviePass's boardroom, something to explain just how they thought this crazy experiment would go. What was the real plan, and what went wrong? And can we ever go back to the glory days?
We came into this podcast trying to find out the real story of the circumstances surrounding MoviePass's rise and fall. The truth, we learned, went so much deeper than we could have imagined.
Hi, are you the ones investigating MoviePass? I have some information you might be interested in.
Oh, really? Yeah. What's your name?
I'm Melissa Sodak. Look, could we meet in person? I'd feel more comfortable talking to you face to face.
Coffee's all around?
Sure, thanks.
Oh, none for me. It'll put me right to sleep. With fedoras sitting firmly atop our heads, we headed out to Nick's Diner to meet up with Melissa.
Here, let me get your coat.
Thanks, but I'd prefer to keep it on.
Yeah, okay. Renault's?
No, it's my husband's. Reminds me of him. That's actually the reason I wanted to talk to you guys. My husband, Jake, was employed by Helios and Matheson and served on the MoviePass team. He was pretty high up. He worked closely with the CEO, Mitch Lowe.
Oh, wow. So he was there during all the shenanigans in 2018?
Yeah, he was really invested. He believed that subscription services like MoviePass were the future of moviegoing, that they would save cinema. A lot of late nights at the office, that sort of thing.
So he liked working there?
I'd say so. It wasn't really a question of liking it for him. It became this weird sort of calling. Mitch Lowe definitely created this sense of, we're all in this together. We're the only ones who can save cinema. His employees were really devoted to him.
Did they get along?
Sure, if that's how you want to put it. It was an intense relationship. Constant hanging out after work, week-long retreats. They'd talk on the phone late at night, but sometimes it'd end in screaming. Jake would come to bed afterwards and just stare at the ceiling until morning.
That sounds really intense. What was the kind of stuff they would argue about?
I could never quite tell the specifics, but it always seemed like, well, do you want to listen for yourself?
Yeah, do you have audio?
Yeah, I took a recording one night during one of the bad fights. It sounded almost abusive, like Mitch was taking advantage of Jake. I thought I might need to have some sort of evidence if Jake ever turned around and decided he felt like it was an unsafe work environment. I only caught the tail end of the fight, but you'll get a sense.
We're not ready. We need more time. I know that was the plan, but what if he doesn't like it? I mean, what if it's not enough? We're not exactly asking for a puff of wind here. You're all fucked. You know that better than anyone. I've been working my ass off to make sure he'll like it, but of course I'm willing. How could you even say that? I'm not willing. Mel? Honey, is that you? Mitch, I gotta go. Yeah, we'll talk more tomorrow. I'm so sorry. Did I wake you?
Do you have any guesses as to who they might have been talking about?
No idea.
Does Jake want to go on record about any of this? We'd love to have him on the pod.
That's the problem. Jake disappeared 2 years ago.
Wait, Jake is just gone? Like, the girl?
November 18th, 2018 was the last time I saw him. He went to work that morning as usual. I didn't think much about it when he didn't come home that night. Thought he was just spending another night at the office. But when he didn't respond to my text and my calls didn't go through, then I figured something was up. I, of course, went to the police. There was a search out for a while, but nothing. I've been trying to figure out what happened ever since.
And you think MoviePass has something to do with it?
MoviePass was his whole life. He was only ever at the office or in our apartment, especially in those weeks leading up to his disappearance. It was a really stressful time for him at work, I remember. He kept saying they were close to a breakthrough, a way to make MoviePass finally profitable. Whatever happened to Jake, there had to be some connection.
Do you have any evidence or clues or anything?
Well, I don't know about clues, but take a look at this. This was the badge they gave him when he first started there. Some kind of Helios and Matheson official thing. I think all the upper-level MoviePass employees had them.
Interesting. It's got some good weight to it. It's like bronze or something.
And look at that symbol, too. It looks like one of those suns I would have drawn in, like, kindergarten. Like a circle with some lines radiating off of it.
He always said it was for protection, whatever that means. So if you wouldn't mind handing that back, I feel like I could use all the protection I can get right now.
Ma'am, is this yours? It just fell out of your pocket.
Really? I've never seen that before.
It looks like some kind of list.
Maybe it fell out when I took the badge? It must have been Jake's.
Says AMC at the top. And then a list of names and phone numbers.
AMC, like the cinema chain?
I guess. Melissa, this could be really helpful to our investigation. Do you mind if we hold on to this list for now?
Sure. Are you going to try and call all these numbers?
Please. We're a successful investigative podcasting duo. We'll get our team of researchers on it.
Back in the studio, we told our intern Agnes, who was spending the semester with us for college credit, to find us a contact at AMC theaters who might be willing to go on the pod. In the meantime, and to procrastinate starting to call all the numbers on the list, we cracked open a hot beer and contemplated what we learned from Melissa.
I gotta say, I'm intrigued. If Jake's disappearance has anything to do with the fact that we can't see movies for basically free anymore, then this could be massive.
Agreed. We need to figure out A, why Jake disappeared, and B, where he went. It sounds like he has the real inside scoop on what really happened with MoviePass. We should find him and get him on the pod ASAP. Then we can finally land our big podcast deal with Audible. Zach, did anything else stick with you from that conversation?
I just keep thinking about how that badge was for protection. I mean, maybe it means if the company was ever audited or something, he would be legally exempt?
Hey guys.
Agnes, what do you have for us?
I was just wondering if you had already checked the AMC website for contact info.
Oh, Zach, I just had a thought. Maybe the AMC website itself has contact info for someone we might be able to speak to.
Oh yeah, wow, that's a great idea, Spencer. Agnes, do you mind checking that for us?
Sure, I'll get right on that.
After a point in the right direction, Agnes uncovered the phone number of AMC's Deputy Director of Public Relations, Ken Crawley. Ken was candid about AMC's history with MoviePass and where a potentially fruitful partnership soured.
So, you teamed up briefly in 2014. Then what happened?
Basically, we felt that MoviePass as a company had limited potential. We felt that, though our partnership had been illuminating, it was time to cut ties and use what we had learned to improve AMC's own offerings.
We told our listeners last week about the drama that occurred when MoviePass dropped their price plan to $9.95 a month in 2017. Care to comment on that?
They basically said that MoviePass was going to change the American public's relationship with moviegoing, and that if we weren't along for the ride, we would fail. Obviously, we at AMC didn't see it this way, so we threatened to stop accepting their stupid little debit cards at our theaters, and MoviePass blocked some of our theaters in response, and it was all downhill from there. Their CEO, what's his name, Mitch Lowe, kept threatening some kind of karmic retribution that would rain down upon us in a divine fury, but we didn't think too much of that. AMC is still around. MoviePass isn't. That's the end of the story.
We're not so sure it is, though. In our search to get to the real story behind MoviePass, we came across a tip that we wanted to ask you about. Do any of the following names ring a bell? Like maybe they work at AMC with you, or they did at one point?
Shoot.
So Ken didn't know any of the names on the AMC list. That is a bummer.
I mean, is it possible he just didn't know any of the people? Like, maybe they worked in different departments?
Or none of them worked at AMC at all. I guess the only thing we can do is get Agnes to start calling all of these numbers.
I keep thinking about how AMC basically stole MoviePass's business plan. Ken said something about, using what they learned with MoviePass to improve their own business offerings. I mean, that sounds to me like once AMC saw the potential that MoviePass offered, they used their own industry standing to steal the idea and then muscle MoviePass out.
So you're saying AMC had a vested interest in seeing MoviePass fail so they would have less competition in the movie subscription service app industry?
Yeah, exactly.
I think AMC might be at the center of this thing. It's entirely possible Ken knows more than he's letting on.
Yeah, I think so too.
Hey, Agnes, can you start just calling each of those numbers one by one?
Zach, can you please silence your phone when we record?
I'm sorry. Oh, wait. Look at this.
For our listeners, Zach just got a notification from the MoviePass app. Zach, can you read what it says?
Yeah, it says stop now.
So, just to clarify, Zach, you don't have the MoviePass app downloaded, right?
No, I deleted it when I ended my subscription back in 2018.
And you haven't gotten any notifications from them since?
No, I haven't. That might be the weirdest part of it for me, even beyond the threatening message. How did they get into my phone?
You got a notification from MoviePass? LOL. Aren't they, super dead?
This is Oliver. That's not his real name, though. Oliver was the kid in my high school who could hack into any teacher's computer and switch a grade around without anyone noticing. He also happened to be the kid we would hit up if we needed experimental drugs or medieval weaponry of any kind. Unsurprisingly, he's pretty big on the dark web these days.
Whoever sent you this notification must have temporarily re-downloaded the app onto your phone remotely, sent you the notification, and then deleted it before you noticed. Epic.
So, whoever sent this must have access to MoviePass's servers.
Hundo P. This notice coming from inside the house.
I didn't know you could install a third-party app remotely.
Who knows what MoviePass is or was capable of? I saw Rampage 25 times in 1 month. Bet you didn't think anyone could do that either. It got better every time, too.
Anything else you can tell us?
I can probably get you the IP address that it came from, if you wanted to go there in person and bust some shit up.
That would actually be really helpful. How long would it take you?
700 8th Avenue in Manhattan, 14th floor.
Wow, that was really fast.
You pay for the best, you get the best. You can wire the Bitcoin to my offshore account.
All right, we are standing outside of 700 8th Avenue, just south of the West Village. Someone in this building does not like us very much, so let's go meet him.
Hey, you guys need to sign in.
Oh, sorry. We're just delivery people.
For who?
Sorry?
For what company?
Seamless?
You both are?
Yes?
Why are you saying everything like it's a question?
We're not?
Well, Seamless doesn't go in the elevator. You can just leave the fool here and I'll buzz up.
You will?
Shut up. Look, we're not actually from Seamless. We just need to get up to the 14th floor real quick.
And why is that?
We need to, drop off a surprise gift.
Yeah? For who?
My girlfriend.
Your girlfriend?
Yes.
You have same girlfriend?
Yes, we do.
It's 2021, man.
What is her name?
Tron.
You both have same girlfriend, and her name is Tabitron?
Yes, and she is beautiful.
Tall, like an oak tree.
Yet small, like a pearl.
Strong, like a stallion.
Yet lithe, like a ferret.
A ferret?
Yeah, they're very live.
You guys are hilarious. Elevators to your right.
Oh, we totally got him.
Fuck yeah.
To be clear, I'm doing this out of pity.
So Spencer, what are we hoping to find up on the 14th floor here?
I'm just looking for anything that could connect with our investigation. I say we just poke around, look at all the offices on the floor, and gather any intel we can. Surefire Records, Matt's Waste Management, something called Quacker. Zach, I'm not really seeing anything that sounds related to MoviePass.
Yeah, me neither. Hey, wait, come here. Look at this.
Oh my god, the symbol! The one that looks like the circle with the little lines coming off of it.
Like a sun drawn by a kindergartner. Yeah, exactly.
Wow, this door doesn't have any other sign except for this little symbol on a placard.
The notification must have come from behind this door. I'd stake my People's Choice Podcast Award on it.
You don't have a People's Choice Podcast Award.
Haha, not yet. Now, we wait. We've been waiting here for exactly one ad break and no one has answered this door. I'm beginning to think there must be no one here.
Or maybe they're having one of those silent raves.
Oh my god, Spencer. That's Mitch Lowe.
Former MoviePass CEO Mitch Lowe? The guy walking right towards us?
Excuse me, gentlemen.
Mitch, did you send us that notification?
I'm sorry. Who are you?
To my phone, from MoviePass. Was that you? You hacked into my phone and sent me a notification because we're investigating you.
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about.
We know about AMC.
You know about AMC?
Yeah, the big movie theater chain that stole your idea.
How did you find out about the... Wait, what did you say?
We know you had a deal with AMC. You know, American Multi-Cinemas. AMC. But they ended up stealing your business model, and then you made a list about them, and we...
You really don't know what you're getting into, do you? You really have no idea.
Well, are we on the right track at least?
You'll do. You'll do just fine.
What does that mean?
Yeah, man, you're being hella cryptic right now.
If you two will excuse me, I've got some important work to do. Get home safe, gentlemen.
Mitch! Mitch!
He's gone, man.
I'm gonna wait right here until he comes back out.
No, you're not.
Ah, shit.
Sorry, guys. Time to go. Turn that mic off. And say hello to Tabatron for me.
Back at the office, we got Agnes up to speed with our abbreviated interrogation.
And then he threw us out onto the street like common trespassers.
I mean, you kind of were, but that sounds very scary.
I was really brave, though.
We were big boys about it. But Zach, you did lose your cool a bit back there with Mitch.
Look, when your phone's autonomy gets violated, you'll understand. But looking back, I was pretty surprised by Mitch's reaction. We got his attention as soon as we mentioned AMC, but then we lost it again once I started telling him what we knew.
What exactly did you say to him?
We know about AMC.
You know about AMC?
Yeah, the big movie theater chain that stole your idea.
How did you find out about the... Wait, what did you say?
We know you had a deal with AMC, you know, American Multi-Cinemas. AMC. But they ended up stealing your business model, and then you made a list about them, and we...
You really don't know what you're getting into, do you? You really have no idea.
Mitch thought we were onto something, but then ended up just laughing us off. Like he realized we were missing a key piece to the puzzle. There's more to this story. But what?
Well, you still have that list of names with AMC in big letters on the top, right? The one Melissa found in Jake's jacket after he disappeared. Seems like that might be your best bet for more information right now.
Spencer, I just remembered. That list of names with AMC at the top, the one from Jake's jacket.
That's so funny. I just remember the same thing. That's got to be our best bet for more information right now. Agnes, put some beers on the stove. We've got a long evening of dialing ahead of us.
Okay.
You'll do just fine.
The number you dialed has been changed, disconnected, or is no...
We're sorry. You have reached a...
If you feel you have reached this recording in error...
Disconnected or is no longer in service.
Please check the number and try your call again. Announcement.
Goodbye. Zach, what's the one thing worse than being hung up on?
I don't know, what?
No one picking up at all. I couldn't even leave voicemails. There was either a message saying the number was disconnected, or just those scary beeps that sound like dial-up internet.
That's disappointing. Do we have anything to follow up on, or was that list a total waste of time?
Well, there was one name I couldn't call. Bob Butterman. There was no number at all under his name, just an X. Weird, right?
Let me bing that name real quick. There's not much coming up here. There's a book on Amazon about a sexually insatiable gynecologist named Dr. Robert Butterman, but I can't tell if it's a memoir or if it's fiction or if it's just a smut book. I'm not making this up. It's called At Your Cervix.
Ew. It was written by a dude, wasn't it?
Of course it was. But it's ranked 26,233 in the erotic suspense genre, so maybe there's something to it. There's a single review that says it's one of the best books she's ever read.
Curiouser and curiouser.
I gotta say, I think this is a dead end. I'm gonna call Melissa and see if she knows anything about the real Bob Butterman or why his number might be missing from this list.
You do that. I'm gonna buy this ebook and do some research.
Hi, Zach.
Melissa, It's Zach Gelfand. So we're diving into this AMC list of names you found in Jake's pocket, and none of the numbers went through. But there's one name that doesn't have a number, just a big X instead. Does the name Bob Butterman ring a bell to you?
Bob. Yeah, I knew him.
Oh, really? Is he an AMC employee?
No. That's the weird thing. He worked with Jake at MoviePass.
Interesting.
They were coworkers early on in Jake's time there. A few years ago, maybe 2017. I remember they were actually pretty friendly. They were part of that tight-knit group I mentioned, the ones who would go on those week-long retreats.
Got it. Did you ever meet him?
A few times. The group would have these happy hours. Really happy hours, if you catch my drift. Sometimes I'd meet Jake at them, and Bob was always there. He was an outgoing guy. Always called me Mel, ma belle, which was a little overly familiar, but cute. Then Jake would pretend to strangle him. Like I said, they were a close group.
When was the last time you saw him?
Bob quit maybe 6 months before Jake disappeared. Or he was fired. It was never clear with them. There was a lot of turnover at that time. I remember asking Jake what happened to Bob, since I hadn't seen him at a happy hour in a while. And Jake said something about how Bob had served his purpose, but wasn't needed anymore. So, yeah, unclear whether he was fired or quit or whatever.
But it's safe to say he definitely left under mysterious circumstances.
Yes.
Maybe that could be related to the X under his name. You don't, happen to have his contact info lying around somewhere, do you?
Oof, probably not. The police took most of the files from Jake's office. Not that they were any help, but... Oh,
sorry. You scared me.
I have it. I have his number. Bob put it in my phone one of those nights. It was harmless. Jake and I had a laugh about it. But it stood out to me. I might have just thought Bob was hitting on me, but it seemed different that night. Less goofy. Even though he had gotten pretty drunk, he was almost wistful. Just as we were leaving, he asked for my phone and put his number into it. Then he looked into my eyes and said, "Equal rights."
Equal rights?
Equal rights. It was so odd. I never saw him again. He left the company soon after.
You don't think he disappeared the way Jake did?
I'm starting to wonder if maybe he did. Good luck calling, Zach. I'm counting on you.
Yeah, what is it?
Hi there. Is this Bob Butterman?
Come on, man. You called like an hour ago.
Excuse me?
What do you want this time? More money for AMC? Look, I have told you people 1,000 times. He doesn't live here anymore.
I'm sorry. I don't want any money. I'm a well-known podcaster working on a new project, ideally for sale at some point to Gimlet Media, and I'm just trying to figure out where Bob went. It's for an investigation I'm doing. If this is a wrong number, I can...
No, it's definitely the right number. Ever since I moved in here 3 years ago, I get calls day and night asking for Bob, whoever the hell that is, pestering me about giving more money to AMC. What is that, some charity? Let me tell you, I'd have left town too if I had AMC on my ass like he did.
Do you know where Bob is now?
I never even met the guy. You said you're doing an investigation?
Yeah. Bob and his former coworker Jake both disappeared under mysterious circumstances 3 years ago. We think their old employer may have had something to do with it. The AMC you keep hearing about is a business competitor that's wrapped up in this whole thing as well. So even if you don't know where Bob is, it's useful to know that AMC keeps trying to get in touch with him.
Tell you what, there was this lawyer who kept poking around right when I moved in. It seemed like she knew Bob. I'll give you her information if you can get these damn calls to stop.
How about you give me the lawyer's contact info, and I'll do my best to find Bob?
I guess that works for me. Her name is Josephine Pring. Her number is 617...
This sure is a cold call heavy episode, isn't it, Spencer?
Yeah. Plus, I've been staying up late reading At Your Cervix, and frankly, I'm exhausted. Mentally and physically.
Gross. Okay, let's just bang out one more, and then we can take a break and have ourselves a hot beer. And don't worry about introducing yourself in this one. The listeners have already heard that a couple times.
All right, I'll give her a call.
And don't say bang one out to me right now, please.
Bob Butterman. That name doesn't ring a bell to me.
Are you sure? We know you were poking around his apartment right after he disappeared a few years ago. Was he a client of yours?
I'm afraid I can't help you.
So you don't know anything? Or just won't talk to us?
Yes.
Which one?
Yes.
Look, this isn't great ethically, but I'll let you in on a little secret. We're about to land a huge deal with Audible for this podcast. They're chomping at the bit, Josephine. You don't even know. I'm talking hundreds of dollars. If you help us out now, I could make sure you see some of that asparagus when it makes its way into our pockets later this year.
I'm a lawyer, you moron. I make 7 figures. I own a boat. I have 3 houses, which is 3 more than you will ever have.
But do you have a hard-bodied 26-year-old beefcake to come over, oil himself up, and give you massages?
Excuse me.
Joey. It's a hard bargain you're driving, but let me be clear. In exchange for this information, I will absolutely sleep with you.
I am happily married, you idiot. And you don't sound like a beefcake. Goodbye.
Zach, how do you make it look so easy? I bribed Josephine with money and sex, and she still hung up on me in like 10 seconds.
Wait. You bribed her with sex? I really don't like what that ebook is doing to you, man.
I've actually learned some helpful tips.
Look, there's gotta be a way to get Josephine to tell us what she knows. Do we have any other information on Bob? What exactly did Melissa say about him?
Jake said something about how Bob had served his purpose, but wasn't needed anymore. Always called me Mel, ma belle. Then he looked into my eyes and said, equal rights.
I have an idea.
Josephine Pring.
Equal rights.
Excuse me?
Bob Butterman. Equal rights.
Huh. Okay, Bob. If that's how you want to play. Okay. You want to know where he went?
Holy shit! That worked?
Don't sound so surprised, Beefcake. Bob clearly wanted you to be able to track him down, or he wouldn't have told you. The Shibboleth.
So, what do you know about Bob Butterman?
Bob was in a lot of trouble back in 2017. Something was going on with his finances. His savings were being drained really quickly. He was worried about his family's future. He couldn't shake his creditors, and they seemed like the type you'd really want to shake. So Bob was in a tough spot. But luckily, he got put in touch with one of my guys.
One of your guys?
You know, guys who helped me out. I got a lot of them. Anyway, I didn't ask too many questions, but when I see a case like Bob's, I know what he needs. He needs to get out of town, lose whoever's on his ass, start a new life somewhere with his family where he'll be safe.
Witness protection.
Essentially, yes, but off the books.
Sick.
I put him in touch with a different guy I know, one who specializes in this. It cost Bob a big chunk of his remaining cash, but it was worth it. He and his family are safe now. New identities, new state, everything. Where he is, he can't be found. Except if you know the Shibboleth.
And that's the phrase equal rights.
Exactly. Bob told it to you, so he must have wanted you to be able to find him. You must be, very special to him.
Yeah, definitely.
So where is he?
He's in a town called Rawlins in Wyoming. Goes by Jean-Michel Bouvier now.
You made him French?
Yeah, he kept asking for that. He doesn't have a phone, but I can give you his address. You got a pen?
Nicely done.
Thanks. I have a hunch Bob knows what happened to Jake, maybe even experienced it himself. We're one step closer to getting to the bottom of what really happened at MoviePass.
Agnes, could you look into flights to Cheyenne for us?
Sure. I think you might be able to get better deals on Tuesday, though. Should I hold off until tomorrow?
I don't think so. Time is of the essence. Plus, once we get our deal with Earwolf, we'll be pretty much set financially. But good thinking.
No problem, then. I'll book the tickets tonight.
Wait, Zach, you know how they say airline tickets get cheaper on Tuesdays? Maybe we should wait to buy until tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, good thinking. We'll buy the tickets tomorrow when they're cheaper.
I'm gonna go take a long walk.
Request our flight attendants be seated at this time. We're landing in about 1 minute. Thank you.
So something I was thinking a lot about on the plane was if I was feeling really thirsty at the end of a long day, could I just hop in the shower and like replenish my hydration?
No, not taking a shower, but taking a bath, probably. Because you're soaking in it, you know?
Cool. All right, we are walking up the driveway at Bob's house in Wyoming. We are way out in the middle of nowhere. There's a small town we passed through like 20 minutes ago, but man, this is really where you want to go if you don't want someone to find you. Spencer, what's your plan for when we get up to the house?
Sorry, I was gonna plan on the flight, but ended up just drinking Bloody Marys and watching The Amazing Spider-Mans 1 and 2 instead. So was kinda hoping you'd run point on this?
Sure. Well, he's not expecting any visitors, and he might not like getting surprised by people who know about the life he's been hiding from for years. But then again, Melissa said he was a really warm and gregarious guy. So I'm hoping he'll see we mean no harm and give us the time of day. Plus, he's a family man, you know? I'm actually pretty optimistic he'll welcome us in.
Fuck! Get behind the log pile!
Sacre bleu! Who is there? Come one step closer and you'll be eating left for déjeuner.
Zach, do something!
Come on, you know how I get with stressful interviews.
This isn't an interview, it's an ambush!
Okay, listen up, you French prick.
Nope, get back down. Bob! Jean-Michel! We just want to talk, we're unarmed!
You are with Ilios and Masterson, no? You've come for the last of my money? Ruining my life was not enough for you bastards!
We want to help! We know what they did to you! Wait, did you just say Helios and Matheson?
Please, we're successful podcasters working for Malcolm Gladwell's podcast company, Pushkin Industries, who just want to uncover the real story behind the rise and fall of beloved subscription service MoviePass.
Do not say that name to me.
Oh shit, oh fuck, oh god.
Equal rights! Equal rights!
You know the Shibboleth? You have spoken with Josephine? You are associates of the Melissa Sodak?
Yes! Yes! She gave us the Shibboleth! She trusts us! And if you put down the shotgun, we'd love to interview you for the pod. We think you'd be really helpful in our investigation.
Into the house. Alone.
Oh, and by the way, we know you're not actually French, so feel free to drop that accent.
Oh, okay, great. Here's the kitchen. Living room's over there. You guys can have a seat. You like Stella Artois?
Oh yeah, would you mind heating mine up a little bit?
As we looked around Bob's house, deep in the wilds of Wyoming, I was struck by how normal it seemed. Between the framed photographs of the Eiffel Tower on the wall and the bowl of fresh baguettes on the counter, it just looked like your average middle American household of French immigrants. But there was a sadness in the walls, imbued in the floorboards. This was a man who knew loss, who knew fear.
My kids are in the back with my wife. They have this game where she ties a tarp to the back of the John Deere and drags them around on it. It's like Disney World to them.
That sounds like a blast.
It keeps them occupied. There's not a whole lot to do with them out here, if I'm being honest. It's not New York, that's for sure.
So when exactly did you end up moving?
Late 2017. I held off as long as I could, for the kids. But in the end, the only way forward was to escape.
You're in financial trouble?
Yeah, down at the very bottom of my savings. It was either hang on in New York for another month until the last drop was drained away, or take the plunge and spend it on a new identity. So I did.
How was AMC getting all that money from you? Was it blackmail?
AMC?
Yeah, American Multi-Cinemas. That's who took all your money, right? You'd think the world's largest cinema operator wouldn't need to leech off the employees of their competitors.
Oh, no, mon frere. The company that robbed me blind, that ruined my life, was Helios and Matheson.
Wait, what? Why would MoviePass's parent company steal money from their own employees?
Let me start from the beginning. You were a MoviePass user, I assume.
Yes, we both were.
It was the best time of our lives.
Right. And did anything about the service ever seem weird to you? Maybe too good to be true?
Well, sure, but that was kind of their whole thing. $9.95 a month for a movie ticket a day. It seemed crazy, but we weren't going to look a gift horse in the mouth.
You never stopped to think about where the money was coming from, did you?
Well, sure, but I don't know. Investors?
Investors? The second Mitch dropped the price, investors bolted. Sure, he said he was working on ways to recoup the massive financial losses, but nothing ever materialized. He had millions of users and no way to appease them. No money in the coffers, no clothes on the emperor.
You're not saying he used your money to buy those movie tickets for all the subscribers?
Not just my money. It started innocently enough. Some of us MoviePass employees would voluntarily forego a few paychecks with the assurance that we'd be paid retroactively later. Pretty standard startup stuff. We believed in the mission and we all wanted what was best for the company, so we agreed. But the money never came.
That's tough luck, but isn't that a risk you were taking?
Then things started to get bad. We started hearing the higher-ups talking about something called the AMC list. So we started digging around and eventually found out that within MoviePass, AMC stood for Adjusted MoviePass Compensation. It was a list of employees who had signed up for direct deposit, but instead of depositing wages into their bank accounts every couple weeks, Helios and Matheson would withdraw money, steal it from their employees, and put it towards keeping MoviePass's service alive. That's their secret. Simple as that. All those times you bought a movie ticket just to kill 45 minutes because your friend was late meeting you for dinner, or because you were walking by a theater and had to take a piss. Every Marvel movie or art house pick or Fast and Furious sequel or animated monstrosity with James Corden voicing an elf, those tickets were all coming right out of my children's mouths.
Oh my God.
Mitch Lowe drained the bank accounts of dozens of employees, ruined them financially, and we let it happen. We were all brainwashed, tricked into believing we were serving some kind of higher ideal of saving the movie-going experience, like it was some kind of god we were worshiping, day after day, dollar after dollar, until it was too late. I watched one buddy of mine lose all sense of self, become completely subsumed with the cause of saving MoviePass. He'd have done anything for them. He's probably still out there now, going door to door from theater to theater trying to get them to sign back up.
Was that Jake Sodak?
Yeah, we were pretty fraternal back in the day. But man, he wound up as Mitch Lowe's lackey, doing whatever he said, repeating his propaganda about how the reckoning was coming and American Animals was going to win Best Picture. He wasn't there for me when I needed him most, when my money was running low, and that was the worst part. When it was time to split, I left the Shibboleth with his wife, Melissa, hoping he'd put two and two together and reach out. Come find me here in Wyoming as a friend instead of as a MoviePass employee. But I guess he was too blinded by the cause.
As we sat in Bob's living room, listening to him spill secrets no one outside MoviePass had ever heard, we felt like our search was finally hitting pay dirt. AMC wasn't just their on-again, off-again business partner. It was also their name for a kind of internal money laundering scheme based on the exploitation of brainwashed MoviePass employees. We wondered what other kinds of secrets were hidden in the Wyoming wilderness.
Bob went on to tell us about the MoviePass strike of July 27, 2018. Remember how the app's first blackout was during the opening weekend of Mission Impossible Fallout? According to Bob, it wasn't just because too many subscribers wanted to go see the movie. The real cause of the blackout was a strike by many of the employees on the AMC list, who all closed their tainted bank accounts at once. With no funds to withdraw from their employees, Helios and Matheson made the decision to crash their own app and make it look like a technical failure before begging for a $5 million emergency loan to keep subscribers from bailing. Bob didn't know what happened to the employees who went on strike, but if all those unanswered phone calls I made were any indication, well, we couldn't help but fear the worst.
We could tell Bob didn't know that Jake had disappeared either, and we were not looking forward to breaking the news. But this man who had experienced so much heartbreak at the hands of MoviePass absorbed the news with a simple, mon Dieu.
Do you think there's a chance Jake escaped like you did? Maybe he's living in Idaho or something now.
I don't think that's likely. Jake was a company man through and through. He didn't participate in the strike, you know? Come to think of it, I don't even think he had direct deposit. You didn't see him on the AMC list, did you? He believed in the cause. He was always rhapsodizing about the true movie-going experience. The smell of popcorn, the nachos that are just chips, no cheese, all that. How it was up to us to save it against the rise of stay-at-home streaming services like Netflix and IMDb.tv. No, if Jake is still alive, he's still spreading the good word of MoviePass. That much I know.
Do you have any inkling of where he could have gone?
Not exactly. But Helios and Matheson has secrets, you know? Stuff I only heard whispers about. Backroom deals, unorthodox team bonding activities, secret meetings in the dead of night. I heard a rumor of a corporate retreat in the Poconos. 50 people went, but only 49 returned. The AMC list is barely scratching the surface of what these guys are hiding, believe you me.
Oh man.
Sounds like some digging into the sordid history of Helios and Matheson might be in our future.
The scary thing is, I'm not even sure they're the true villains of this story.
What do you mean?
Think about it. The whole fucked up ecosystem that kept MoviePass alive couldn't have existed without you.
Me?
You and the 3 million other subscribers. You all wanted a good deal bad enough that you were willing to turn a blind eye to injustice. You knew someone was getting ripped off, had to have been getting ripped off, and you kept buying movie tickets anyway. Someone, somewhere was paying for it. Someone always is. Now, you're getting to see his face.
Ursula K. Le Guin's 1973 short story, The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas, describes a fictional, utopian society full of bliss. There's no war, no class conflict. The citizens are completely content and have everything they could wish for. Sounds great, right? But here's the twist. In order to keep the city in its state of bliss, a single child must be kept in misery and darkness, filthy and hungry. Though the oppressed child is kept out of sight of the other citizens, they know of its existence, and they accept the situation, knowing that it's the only way to ensure the city's continued bliss.
After hearing Bob's story, we began to wonder if MoviePass was like Omelas as well. Maybe the company was just like Apple or Amazon, a deal that's too good to pass up, only made possible by injustices we choose to ignore. Was this at least part of the horrible truth? Is it really true what they say, that nothing in life is ever really $9.95 a month?
I think you guys should take this. This is the official H&M badge I received when I joined the MoviePass team.
Yeah, Melissa showed us Jake's old one.
He always said it would protect whoever had it. Something called a solarity, something like that.
Funny, Melissa mentioned the same thing, about protection.
A lot of good that did me. Maybe you'll find it more useful than I did.
Thanks, Bob.
I do hope you get to the bottom of this, not just for Jake, but for Melissa, and for all the people on that list, and everyone who bought a movie ticket without realizing the consequences of their actions. They need to know the truth.
We'll do our best.
And thank you for all the information you've given us. This has been the most productive visit anyone's had to Wyoming since Kanye West made Yay.
Come on, don't tell me you actually like that album.
It had its moments.
Ghost Town is pretty great. Kids, come say hello to our guest. Careful, don't get mud on the couch. This is Pierre and Brigitte, and that radiant creature walking in now is Maud.
Guten Tag.
Buenos dias.
You know, I know MoviePass took a lot from you, but what you've got here, it doesn't seem so bad.
We've made the best of it. It's funny, Pierre barely remembers living in New York or that he used to be named Peter. Brigitte was less than a year old when we left. Their lives are here, and Maud's and mine too. In a way, MoviePass seems like a distant memory, almost like it happened to someone else. Here, I'm able to wake up and put in an honest day's work teaching film studies at the local French-American school. I come home to my wife and kids every night, go birding on the weekends. It's a simple life, but if I'm being straight with you, it's freeing.
Well, I'm glad you got out.
Me too.
Bob?
Yeah?
Could we get a ride on the tarp before we go?
You boys ready?
Ready!
Hold on to me, Zach. This looks like it could get bumpy.
No, fuck, the mic!
As we rode off into the Wyoming sunset atop a muddy tarp, fedoras blowing in the wind, I couldn't help but think that we were getting close to some answers, some explanation, something tangible to tell Melissa and the rest of the people disenfranchised by a company too big for its britches.
Bob was kind enough to allow us to stay with him for the night before our flight back to New York the following morning. His kids only spoke French, but they showed us a kindness that feels alien when all you're used to is the hustle and bustle of New York City.
Bob gave us a tour of his office where we would be staying. He gave us a detailed rundown of his very impressive collection of Funko Pop dolls while his wife Maud cooked a delicious dinner.
We were able to put aside the case that had occupied every waking hour over the last few months and take a moment to truly unwind and relax with our new friends.
But, as with most things in hard-hitting podcast journalism, R&R never lasts too long. It's 7:27 a.m. on September 17th. They're gone. Bob, his family, everyone is gone. Everything is gone.
Maud! Pierre! Vous êtes tous les gars?
I don't know how we slept through this. The entire house was cleared out around us. The baguettes, the Funko Pops, everything but our backpacks and sleeping bags. It's all gone.
Look, I found this. It's a note from Bob. If you could find me, they can too.
The next stop is Fulton Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Back at our office in the Big Apple, we decided to reorient ourselves toward the final destination Bob pointed us to, MoviePass's parent company, Helios and Matheson. Bob mentioned whispers of strange happenings at Helios that seemed to only be known to those in the right circles.
So, Zach, I guess the first step is to gather what intel we can on Helios and Matheson. So, let's see what's available on the World Wide Web. Helios and Matheson.com.
Warning. Get off this page now. Oh, fuck.
Go back.
Huh.
What color was the smoke coming from the computer?
It was kind of like a grayish color.
Gray. Fascinating.
This is Zephyr Gondra. I lived with Zephyr for a year when I first moved to New York, but I hardly ever saw him through the eyeliner and the forest of medicinal herbs he filled the apartment with. He once made me watch Eyes Wide Shut every night for a month. If anyone could clue us in about the occult history of a publicly traded data analytics company, it was him.
Yes, well, the name Helios, you see, Helios was the personification of the sun in ancient Greek myth. Yes, every day he would drive the chariot of the sun across the sky from east to west. He wasn't a major god, of course, but he was worshipped as a giver of life and creation. Matheson could be a few different things. Well, for starters, there's an industrial gas supplier with that name, and, of course, the logistics provider for the postal service.
Do you know anything about the company Helios and Matheson?
No, but I do have this book that could help. Jin Ra's Compendium of the Occult. It's my favorite. I can't get enough, but I can't dive into it now since, of course, it's a full moon, but I can send it to you so you and the other boy can look at it.
So, Zephyr said we might be able to find information on Helios and Matheson in this thing? I'm kind of afraid to open it. I feel like it'll just crumble into ash.
Hey, it's got that symbol on the cover.
Oh shit, yeah. The one on the badges.
Let's check out the index. Hags, Halloween, Hawk, Ethan, Helios and Matheson.
Hell yeah. Oh, sorry, I was just reading the next entry.
Page 8304. Here we go. Of this ancient group we shall not speak, for its secrets elsewhere you must seek. That's all I got here.
Jumanji-ass entry.
I wonder if there's some way to get in contact with Jinra. Try to get some more information out of him.
Yeah, let me check the back dust jacket. Damn, not much here at all. Just a frame with a big question mark in it. And then underneath, where there should be a nice bio, it's just the 10 plagues all written out.
Like the biblical 10 plagues? From Exodus?
Yeah. You know, blood, frogs, lice, all that. Real Passover hours.
Huh. Jinra. Must be a Sephardic name.
Whatever he is, he seems like a real piece of... Hang on.
What?
Something's weird with this list. The plagues are out of order. The list here starts with locusts, which should be the 8th plague, I think, then blood for some reason, then boils, and so on. It's all mixed up. And you know what? Darkness is on here twice. And there's no slaying of the firstborn. I always remember that one. My younger brother always thinks it's so funny. I don't know, it seems like a weird misprint.
Oh my god. Spencer, read them out to me.
Locusts, blood, boils. Beasts, frog, lice. Darkness, darkness. Cattle, disease. Hail.
816-423-9957.
Holy shit, dude, nice!
Hand me my phone.
As we waited for Jinra to pick up the phone, we found ourselves wondering if poking the sleeping bear was a good idea. Could Helios and Matheson's secrets be so diabolical that this Old Testament-loving occult expert even refused to chronicle them? Would he, hex us for even asking?
Oh yeah, that whole Jinra thing. I was really going through it at the time, being a real drama queen and all. What do you want to know?
Turns out Jinra was just the kind of problematic pseudonym for Lorraine Hansen Jansen, a Minnesota pet store owner who got pretty into the supernatural as an undergrad at Macalester. That said, she seemed to know her stuff pretty well, even decades later.
Oh my god, is that really what I put in my author bio? I must have been pretty snookered. Sorry to make you do all that work.
So can you tell us anything about Helios and Matheson that isn't in the book?
Oh, sure. Let's see. So Helios and Matheson, founded in 400 BC by this Athenian named Pindaros Matheson.
Wait, sorry, did you say 400 BC?
Oh, you're darn tootin'.
Wow. Okay, just confirming.
So, there was this Athenian named Pindaros Matheson, and you know how ancient Greek theater was a huge part of their culture. They basically invented it, created drama and comedy. Yeah, you sound like smart kids. You know this already. So this one guy, Pindaros Matheson, right, he was in charge of the theater in Athens. He wanted to give all the citizens unlimited free access to all the shows. Was obsessed with that idea. Had to be unlimited, had to be free, yeah. But he also wanted it to eventually turn a profit to make the plays worth it for the Athens city-state to keep putting them on.
Sounds like a tough needle to thread.
Oh, it was. He was constantly making sacrifices to Helios, the sun god, just begging him to help him figure it out. How could all these people see theater without paying for it? Enough people believed in his mission that over time he was able to build up a group who would perform his rituals with him. They were mostly actors from the plays he would put on.
Theater kids.
The most dangerous type of followers. They became kind of a cult, called themselves the Helians. They claimed to be able to summon Helios every year at midnight on the summer solstice, using a process called full solarity.
Solarity?
Helios and Matheson was a whole thing back then, believe me. Oh, you know the Colossus of Rhodes?
Sure, the giant statue in Greece. It was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world before it collapsed in an earthquake.
Knew you were a smart cookie. I believe that earthquake was caused by an angry Helios. The statue was of him, you know, built by the Helians to worship him. He must have gotten ticked off pretty bad to knock the whole thing down.
Or it could have just been an earthquake.
Tomato. Anyway, the Helians grew to be a major force in ancient Greece, constructing the Colossus, infiltrating the government, patronizing theater and the arts. Sure, some say they performed human sacrifices, but who didn't back then? And here's the thing, they never really went away. Just sort of hid in the shadows for millennia, kept their affiliation with Helios and Matheson secret. In fact, a lot of powerful people even today are rumored to be Helians. Politicians, cryptocurrency tycoons, Hollywood bigwigs, all types.
So what, they're just like a knockoff Illuminati?
Oh, geez, honey. The Illuminati are knockoff Helios and Matheson.
Our call with Jin Ra, aka Lorraine Hanson Jansen, about the origins of Helios and Matheson was quickly sending us to the bottom of the rabbit hole. And the closer we got, the more frightened we became of what might be awaiting us there.
So before the ad break, did you say they did human sacrifices?
Oh, sure. But that was millennia ago, sweetie, back when everyone was doing it. It was a different time.
So then what do they do these days?
Oh, the usual. Nepotism, insider trading, maybe make an airliner disappear every now and then. Still not people you want to mess with, but they've adapted pretty well to modern times.
It sounded like Lorraine was right. The most notable 21st century product of Helios and Matheson was, well, MoviePass. And it was extremely successful, at least for a time. Plus, the concept did seem to be carrying on the Helian founding principle of providing the masses with ridiculously cheap entertainment. But at what cost? How far would modern-day Helians be willing to go to fulfill the vision of their founder?
And do you think they still have a powerful presence in this country even today?
Oh, I've got no doubt. They've always had a lot of influence in New York, Los Angeles, anywhere with a major entertainment industry. In fact, their first meeting place in North America wasn't too far from where you boys are now.
Oh, really? Where was that?
You know those horse stables in, what is it? Oh, Hell's Kitchen? The NYPD uses them. So do the carriages you see in Central Park. In colonial times, even before the United States of America, the Helians used to meet there. Perform their rituals. Maybe they still do.
We wanted to ask about one of the symbols on the cover of your book. It's a circle with a bunch of little lines radiating off of it.
Oh, like a sun drawn by a kindergartner. Oh, sure, that's the actinocrator.
It's the symbol of Helios and Matheson, right? We've come across it a few times in our investigation. We saw it on an office door belonging to the MoviePass CEO, and then, of course, on the badges that we...
You've seen the badges?
Yeah, we have one.
Oh, super! Those little guys are powerful. They're imbued with some kind of protective enchantment. They say Rasputin used to carry 3 on him at all times. That's how he survived being shot and drowned and poisoned and whatnot. Helians would use them during the full celerity in case anything went wrong with the summoning. When you're dealing with an elder god, you know it's good to have a backup plan. So hold on to that, baby.
Thanks so much for your time, Lorraine. This is all extremely helpful in finding out the true story behind MoviePass. Zach, would you mind just wrapping this up? I gotta run to the...
I have one last story before you go. Helios wasn't a very major god in Greek mythology, but he appeared in a number of works of poetry and literature. The most famous one was the myth of his son, Phaeton.
Actually, kind of have to go to the bathroom, Lorraine. Could we maybe schedule another...
Helios had a number of children with many different wives, kind of like my ex-husband. One of Helios's kids was Phaeton. Phaeton grew up not knowing who his father was, but when he got old enough, he asked his mother. She told him his father was Helios, the sun. So Phaeton went to Helios and asked if this was true. Helios welcomed Phaeton with open arms and gave him a gift. He could have one wish granted, whatever he wanted. Phaeton said that he wanted to drive Helios' chariot across the sky one morning to make the sun rise. Now, this was a big ask. That thing was massive, and it took a very skilled driver to operate it correctly. Only Helios knew how to do it. He tried to tell Phaeton that it was too dangerous, but Phaeton demanded his father stick to his promise. So the next morning, Helios gritted his teeth and handed Phaeton back the ring.
Are we like halfway done with this story?
Oh my god, it was a disaster. Phaeton couldn't control the chariot at all. He either went too low and scorched the earth, or he went too high and everything froze. Eventually, Zeus had to intervene, and he struck the chariot with a lightning bolt. Phaeton fell to the ground and died. But the whole world was saved.
Is that the end?
That is the end.
Alright, be right back.
That's a great myth and all, but why is it important for us to know?
Why do you think Pinderos Matheson chose Helios as his patron god? Because he saw himself in him. The only one capable of being in charge of an important resource. Disastrous in the wrong hands. Driving the sun chariot, providing unlimited free entertainment. Same difference.
Zach, what did I miss?
Just a myth involving Helios. It added some flavor, but nothing too important.
Oh, good. Sorry to bail, but it was starting to hurt in the tip. Anyway, I thought that was illuminating.
Yeah, maybe a little too illuminating. There's a certain gargantuan quality about this whole thing, you know what I mean? If Jake Sodak was wrapped up in the Helios and Matheson cult, I'm not sure I want to find out where he went.
Man, come on, we're so close. I have a strong feeling we're only an episode or two away from finding out what happened to Jake, uncovering the truth behind Helios and Matheson,
and providing our listeners with closure regarding the demise of their favorite app.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think we...
Zach, how many times have I asked you to mute your phone when we record?
Dude, that was your phone.
No, wait, mine's on Do Not Disturb. How could it... Oh!
What?
Oh my God. They got to me, Zach. They got to my phone.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God. Oh, man. Oh, God.
Spencer just got a notification from the Phantom MoviePass app. Dude, calm down. It's just the same thing that happened to me.
No, this time it's worse.
Why?
Because it's happening to me.
Fine, what does it say?
Just 2 words. Stables. Midnight.
I think we're here.
As we stood in front of the Manhattan horse stables that MoviePass parent company Helios and Matheson used to use as their colonial-era meeting place, a sense of awe washed over us. The history of it. This cult had been around for millennia, claiming generations of powerful politicians, business titans, artistic giants in its ranks, influencing world events on a scale we couldn't begin to comprehend. And now, here we were. 2 brilliant, popular Brooklyn podcasters in the dead of night, armed with only an anonymous notification from a long-dead app on my phone.
Actually, thanks to our sleuthing back in episode 3, we pretty much knew who sent the notification. Mitch Lowe, former CEO of MoviePass and nefarious member of Helios and Matheson, surely waded deep within the dark recesses that lay before us.
Smells like horse shit.
Zach? Spencer? Is that you guys?
Melissa?
What are you doing here?
I got this freaky notification on my phone from the MoviePass app. It said if I showed up here at midnight, I'd find out what happened to Jake.
Yeah, we got one just like that.
I'm kind of scared. Are you?
No.
No, of course not. Not at all.
I think it's funny, actually. I'm laughing on the inside.
Well, it doesn't look like anyone's here. Should we go in?
If it's the only way to uncover the truth behind MoviePass.
And my husband's disappearance.
Yeah, that too. Absolutely.
There wasn't much immediately apparent inside the stables. We wandered around the darkened corridors for what felt like hours, but was probably just 10 or 15 minutes. Morale was dropping, our nerves were on edge, and our sketchers were getting absolutely caked in manure.
This is so stupid. I hate horses. They should be outlawed.
What? How can you outlaw horses? They're an animal.
In cities, I mean. They don't belong here anymore. It's not the freaking 1800s. We have cars and shit. All horses do nowadays is stink up Central Park South and attract tourists.
I think those carriages are pretty fun.
I'm serious. We've evolved past a need for domesticated horses. They should have one of those rules where you can only have one if it's small enough to fit in a bag. Let the full-grown ones run free. Yeah, next time I go to the park, I'm going to release the first one I see.
That's so dangerous.
Lay off, okay?
I'm sorry, Melissa. It's way past his bedtime. Whoa, I think we're in the main chamber.
Echo!
Keep your voice down.
This thing must go on for blocks.
Mitch! We're here, Mitch! Do your worst!
Jesus, man.
Come on, he's got to be around here somewhere. Why would he send us a noti and then ghost?
Do you hear that?
Well done, gentlemen. You've made it this far.
Told you.
Mitch!
Buddy! Mind if we ask you a few questions for the podcast we're doing? We could set up right by, that pile of dilapidated machinery over there.
Sun in the sky, moon underground. Day is long and night's not found.
We just need 15 minutes max. I can't guarantee softballs, but the interview will be in good faith. I brought an extra blue snowball USB mic and a couple of kombuchas. What do you say, man?
Chariot of fire near, flaming glory, awe and fear.
Mitch?
Free entertainment for the masses.
Is he like doing a spell on us?
Mighty one, the time
I don't
is
like
now
this, you guys.
for to fulfill your ancient vow.
Zach, what are you doing?
I'm setting up the booth. Let me just move this pole. I don't think it's load bearing. Uh-oh.
Great, now our way out's blocked.
Even worse, these surfaces are way too reflective for proper recording.
He's getting closer.
I think I see an exit. Follow me.
Where?
Over on the far side, behind Mitch.
You want us to run towards him? He's got a really evil look in his eye, and his staff is glowing.
Look, we gotta get out of here before more Helians show up. Right now, we outnumber him. But if we rush him and get to the exit...
He's almost on us!
Okay, fine. Melissa, you lead.
On the count of 3. 1...
Wait, Melissa, did you say Helians?
2...
How do you know about the Helians?
3!
Ow! Ow! Mitch! Buddy!
Now, Melissa, let me go!
Give me a hand here, Spencer.
She's got me in a half Nelson.
And he's got me in a full Nelson.
This sucks! Why are you both so good at wrestling?
The members of Helios and Matheson boast many skills.
Nighty-night.
What happened? Where am I? Why are we tied up?
Keep your voice down. Mitch and Melissa are right over there. She set us up. I don't know why, but I made sure we're still recording.
What are we gonna do?
I'm working on it.
Oh, good. They're up. At last, the good podcasters have succumbed to the power of the Helians. You know, I will say I was impressed with your detective skills. Sure, the breadcrumbs I laid out were pretty straightforward, but you forced us to accelerate the endgame significantly. Hats off to the little sleuths.
You tricked us.
We only did all this to help you find your husband.
Oh, dear boys. Did you ever take a moment to wonder about a lady's motivations? Why would I ever want you to further expose Helios and Matheson after my husband's generous stock option package was transferred over to me upon his disappearance? Once MoviePass comes back, I'll be rich beyond my wildest dreams.
So this is all about the money?
It's always about the money, sweetheart.
Melissa, in my left back pocket, there's a wallet. In it, you'll find my driver's license, a Brooklyn Public Library card, and a $50 gift certificate to California Pizza Kitchen that I've been saving for a special occasion. If you let us go, it's all yours, except the gift certificate.
It's almost time.
Almost time for what?
I'll go finish the preparations.
Preparations?
Boys, what makes a good business?
Cool logo?
An overconfident white male CEO?
Profitability. Many people just assumed that Helios and Matheson didn't have a plan to turn MoviePass into a profitable venture. Of course we had a plan. The plan required courage, finesse, and ingenuity. It just took a little longer than we would have liked. And our poor friend Jacob Sodak was the first step in the right direction.
What did you do to Jake?
Willing. He had to be willing.
Where is he?
The offering must be willing, whose blood will soon be spilling.
Oh, I'm no good with blood.
You brainwashed him.
It wouldn't have taken so long, but he had to be willing. The night Jake sat right where you are, pontificating about the value of the in-person movie-going experience, I knew the years of subliminal messaging, or brainwashing, as you so indelicately put it, had finally paid off. He would be the perfect candidate for our first offering.
Offering?
We needed an accelerant, something to help our business turn profitable faster. And whenever, in the long and illustrious history of our order, we Helians have needed help, who do we turn to? Helios, of course!
Is he talking about Helios as in the sun god?
I think so.
Oh, cool, just checking.
But alas, the full celerity did not go as smoothly as we'd hoped. Helios took one look at Jake and laughed right in my face. His voice, I can still hear it perfectly to this day. One puny sacrifice for me to save an entire LLC? He was not happy. I mean, I started to get scared. But then, I believe he realized the potential for our operation. After devouring Jake, Helios told me that he wasn't going to save the company, but he would give me a few suggestions. Limit subscribers to just 3 movies a month, with $5 discount offered on any extra movies. While we were at it, he suggested that we offer an IPO to initiate some cash flow and possibly stay afloat for another year. All in all, it was pretty good advice for a non-MBA, but it wasn't enough. Our cash reserves dried up shortly after all of our AMC employees betrayed our cause and fled during the Mission Impossible weekend. We were bankrupt within the year.
So what do you want from us?
The investigatory zeal! Well, without it, you might not be here today. You know, when we lured you to the dummy office on 8th Ave back in episode 3, and I saw that passion for answers in your eyes, I knew Melissa had chosen well, and she was right. You proved yourselves perfect for the final stage of the plan.
You don't mean...
I do mean, boys. One sacrifice wasn't enough to please Helios and convince him to save the company. But what's one sacrifice compared with 2?
Dude, what the fuck are we gonna do? I'm working on it. Give me that. To all our loyal listeners, Blackout Daters, Blacker Outers, Blackout Mates, we've been captured by an ancient order in the Hell's Kitchen stables and are about to be offered as a sacrifice to a god. If you're listening to this, please come up with a better group name for you all, and then send help to...
He's here! Oh shit, look at that.
Who dare summon me from the peaks of Olympus?
Oh, mighty one, we did everything you recommended, and yet MoviePass remains bankrupt. We have here for you another offering, another chance for us to make ends meet and bring the cheap movie-going experience back to the masses once and for all.
What the fuck? You again?
You'll never get away with this. Our crack team of investigators is on their way here as we speak. Zach, Agnes knows where we are, right?
They're an unpaid intern, dude. I couldn't ask them to work overnight.
Oh.
Great Helios. I do recognize the relative frequency with which I am summoning you, and that 3 years is probably like 15 seconds to an immortal being such as yourself, but I humbly entreat you to hear my plea.
Did you not like my business advice? Was it not sound enough for you?
No,
No, it was totally sound, but we went under anyway. Maybe these 2 tasty podcasters could convince you to work a little of your god magic and bring MoviePass back.
Did they come here willingly?
Okay, technically...
Yes, oh mighty one.
That's a gross oversimplification. Helios, your majesty, they tricked us. We were just investigating the rise and fall of beloved movie ticket subscription service MoviePass, but we got roped into finding out what happened to Jake Sodak, and one thing led to another, and now we are most unwillingly being sacrificed.
Jake Sodak? Okay, I'll tell you what happened to Jake Sodak. I vaporized that puny fuck with my sun ray and inhaled his particles through every pore of my celestial body.
Right, so I'm really glad we know that, but would also like to avoid that happening to us as well.
Unwilling!
Please, these 2 are so overcome with delirium that they're not making any sense.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, Mitch. This seems a little sus. It doesn't seem like they want to be sacrificed.
Oh, Helios, I implore thee to accept our offering and provide MoviePass with the seed money it needs to return to the App Store.
And none of this tiered pricing crap. We want $9.95 a month for 30 to 31 movies with no strings attached.
Don't vaporize us, Your Honor.
Tell you what, let's make this interesting.
Whoa, the ropes!
Our hands are free! High five!
What have you done?
2v2, WWE style tag team, cage match, no mercy. Mitch, you and Melissa versus the podcasters.
Wait, what?
You heard me. And no goofing around here, it's gotta be to the death.
Are you serious?
Mitch and Melissa, if you win, I will bring back MoviePass once and for all. And you can finally achieve the dream of Pindaros Matheson by providing cheap, unlimited entertainment to the masses.
And what about us?
Podcast idiots, if you win, I will make sure your podcast goes #1. Becomes a cultural phenomenon greater than any that have come before. Picture Serial if she actually figured out who did it.
Oh, man.
I'm talking features in Vulture. I'm talking guest spots on Comedy Bang Bang. Maybe one of the countless podcast distributors that you've pitched on this project will actually respond to your email. I mean, imagine all of the new Twitter followers.
This is sounding kind of chill, honestly.
You'll be rewarded with riches and New York City media clout beyond your wildest dreams.
I think I saw some 2x4s over in the corner. If we get to those before...
Shut up. And what if we refuse?
I'll kill all 4 of you.
Oh, fuck.
To his credit, that does make it interesting.
Let's get ready to rumble! And then... Okay. Cool.
saying? This kind of sounds like a win-win. If we win, we'll get Rogan-level famous, and the bartender at Charlene's will finally be nice to us. And if we lose, MoviePass comes back.
But we can't take advantage of really cheap movie tickets if we're dead.
Okay, then we take out Mitch and Melissa and start planning how to spend all our cultural capital. I say we start a production company. Or maybe host a music festival with Ja Rule.
You don't really want to kill anyone, Spencer. You cried during Shrek when Fiona's singing made that bird explode.
I stand by that. Who was Fiona to take that creature's life? Oh shit, I see what you mean.
There's gotta be a way out of this.
Quit stalling, you two.
Grab a 2x4 and faces like men.
It doesn't have to be this way. Too many lives have already been ruined in the name of MoviePass. It was a glitchy app anyway.
You want their sacrifices to have been in vain?
Classic sunk cost fallacy.
We don't want to kill you, and we know deep down, you don't want to kill us either.
My whole life, I've been working towards this moment. And now that it's within grasp, you presume to tell me what I do and do not want?
Come on, guys, I'm not getting any younger. Or older, for that matter. I should write that down.
We loved MoviePass too, Mitch. Maybe more than anyone outside of the company itself. We'd go multiple times a week, see whatever was playing, appreciate how that little red card opened up doors to movies we'd never see otherwise. Hell, look at us. We've dedicated almost 7 full podcast episodes to celebrating it. But it's time to let go. There's been too much misery caused in the name of MoviePass. We've spoken to people on the AMC list and how they were forced to flee the city. We've learned about Jake and how he lost himself entirely in the quest to bring MoviePass back. We're getting to know you, Mitch, a former Netflix executive and president of Redbox who just asked too much in his lust for an impossible business model.
Blah, blah, blah. Are you gonna fight or not? Don't make me zap you.
Maybe MoviePass wasn't meant to last. It was like a shooting star. Beautiful to those who glimpsed it, but ephemeral by nature. It's the end of the line, Mitch. The comet's burnt up. You always knew you couldn't offer $9.95 a month for unlimited movies without making sacrifices. But these sacrifices? Me, Zach, Jake, Bob. Some sacrifices aren't worth making.
You're right. I have asked too much of others, but I can't just walk away now. My legacy.
Your legacy is secure. MoviePass was the groundbreaker, the one that walked so others could run. You have a place in history.
It was you, Mitch. Your vision. Pindaros Matheson would be proud.
Will you tell my story on the podcast?
Yes, absolutely.
We've actually been recording this whole time.
Movie lovers, forgive me.
Fine.
What the hell? You guys are so lame. I mean, not one stone cold stunner.
I got this one. Helios, your services are no longer needed. We hereby banish you back to the other world.
Oh no, he banishes me. I'm banished. Just kidding. Miss me with that, bitch.
Mitch, you summoned him. What do we do?
Don't ask me. I just had my big moment.
All right, you asked for it. One giant sun ray coming right up.
You guys, we need some kind of protection from his ray.
Protection.
He always said it was for protection. Whatever that means.
Like a song run by a kindergartner.
This is the official H&M badge I received when I joined the MoviePass team. He always said it would protect whoever had it.
Like a song run by a kindergartner.
Oh sure, that's the actina crater. Those little guys are powerful. They're imbued with some kind of protective enchantment.
Like a song run by a kindergartner. Yeah, exactly.
The badges! Quick, Melissa, Mitch, give me your actinocrator badges.
The one with the circle with the little lines coming off of it, like a sun drawn by a kindergartner?
Yeah, here's ours.
Here you go.
I have Jake's.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a big one.
They just flew together.
And they're glowing.
Here I go. No, wait, you guys. It does hurt, but it kind of tickles. Fuck this, dude. I would never do this to y'all. No, I would. But stop.
He's gone.
Are you guys okay?
I think so.
Me too. Wow, good thinking on that. All Helians learn in elementary school that a trio of actinocrators put together can reflect sun god beams, but I never thought it'd come up in real life. Like PEMDAS?
Now, how do we get out of here? I'm totally turned around after all that commotion.
Yeah, it's so dark in here. Mitch?
I had used my staff's divine power to guide me here, but with Helios gone, it's useless now.
Just not helping at all, man.
Zach? Spencer?
Agnes? What are you doing here?
I was listening to the back episodes and figured out you'd probably be at the stables. Followed the crazy Nine Inch Nails sounds and found my way to this room.
Wow, nice work. But now you're trapped in here with us. We can't find our way out.
I actually tied some string back at the entrance. I have the other end here. If we follow that, we should be able to get back no problem.
Agnes, that's a great idea.
Thanks, Zach.
I'm so beat, though. I don't know if I can take another step.
You guys comfortable on horseback?
As the five of us galloped down the West Side Highway in the dead of night, a sense of kinship washed over us. We were some of the last true believers in MoviePass, and now that hope had been wiped away. But in its place stood something even stronger. Together, we had taken out a god. We were soldiers. We were family.
Did Spencer and I go too far in investigating the rise and fall of MoviePass? Should we have let the app go gentle into that good night and just accepted a future of $18 movie tickets? We'll let history be the judge. But for now, we had an office to get back to and 5 hot beers to drink.
And so we beat on, horses against the traffic, borne back ceaselessly into the movie past.
Man, that was so cool when the beam went right back into Helios's eye and then his head exploded and he disintegrated into dust and then his remains were like pulled back to Olympus. Agnes, you should have seen it. It was incredible.
Wish I could have been there.
Why are you guys wearing fedoras?
Welcome back to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. I'm joined today by Zach Gelfand and Spencer Roth-Rose, 2 podcasters whose new hit show, Blackout Dates, is an investigation into the rise and fall of beloved movie ticket subscription service, MoviePass.
So, did you ever think when you started this podcast that you'd make your way onto the Rachel Maddow show?
Gotta say, the favorite part for me, Jimmy Fallon, was when you went to go interview Bob in Wyoming and he attacked you with a shotgun. Talk about a cliffhanger.
The release of the first 7 episodes of the podcast was met with instant acclaim. Who knew the public was so into juicy exposés of famously mismanaged tech companies?
People couldn't believe that Helios and Matheson was but the current iteration of an ancient Greek fraternal organization bent on providing free, unlimited entertainment to the masses. They couldn't believe that gods exist and that they like WWE. But, most of all, they couldn't believe that MoviePass was gone for good.
We were fielding calls from friends, family, and ex-girlfriends, left and right.
Spence, I saw you on 60 Minutes. You were so great. And was that my old fedora you were wearing?
Hey, Dad.
Crazy stuff. The whole thing was plotted really tightly. I'm so glad you're putting your Ivy League degree to good use.
Oh, thanks so much for listening.
Oh, but listen, now that HBO has signed on for a docuseries based on your podcast, do you think maybe you could pay back that $2,200 you owe me? The Bitcoin on the hacker, those plane tickets, even shipping costs for the occult book really added up.
I couldn't have done it without you, Dad. I love you. Bye.
We also went back to Josephine Pring, the lawyer who had put us in touch with former MoviePass employee Bob Butterman. We had last spoken with Bob at his chateau in Wyoming, where he and his family had assumed new French identities to escape from Mitch Lowe and MoviePass. He was then forced to move again after we sorta blew up his spot on the podcast, and we had no idea where he had gone. But Josephine was able to put us through on a secure line to speak with him one last time, under the condition we wouldn't publicize his newest identity.
We did it, Bob. We uncovered the truth behind MoviePass and Jake Sodak's disappearance.
I know you paisans could do it. So, where was he?
He'd been vaporized by Helios and then inhaled through the sun god's celestial pores.
Ay, Maron. What are you gonna do?
Would you believe Melissa was in on it the whole time? She knew what happened to Jake, but had to trick us into doing this whole investigation so that Helios would accept us as willing sacrifices. She was holding a bunch of Jake's old Helios and Matheson stock options. She would have been rich if MoviePass came back.
Wow, what a twist. I didn't know she had it in her. So, MoviePass is over? Kaput?
We think so. Mitch and Melissa have seen the error of their ways and are dedicating their lives to good now. They're planning to open an art house cinema in the city together and keep ticket prices below $15.
No more stealing money from employees. No more human sacrifices. No more funding atrocious films like Gotti.
Bob,
Do you know what this means?
I'm free.
You're free.
Cosentina, cara mia! We're free! Grazie mille, boys!
So what are you gonna do now?
Well, we're just getting settled into our new home, and we all kind of dig living as proud Italo-Americans, so we might stick it out a little while here. But knowing Helios and Matheson isn't breathing down my neck anymore will help me sleep a whole lot better at night.
Well, if you ever need a place to stay in New York City, you know who to call. There will be a hot beer waiting with your name on it.
Molto bene. Ciao!
Guys, you know what I just realized?
What's up?
Remember that myth Lorraine the Supernaturalist told us about Helios and his son Phaeton?
I was blinded by my bladder for that. Would you mind summarizing?
Sure. So Helios offered his son Phaeton a gift, whatever he wanted. And Phaeton wanted to drive Helios' sun chariot across the sky, even though he wasn't strong enough. Lo and behold, when he did, it was a disaster and he almost destroyed the world. Zeus had to step in and take him out with a lightning bolt before he could do any more damage. That's the whole story.
Jeez, that's a downer.
Definitely. Lorraine said Pindaros Matheson chose Helios as his patron god because he identified with him, that the responsibility of providing free, unlimited entertainment to the masses was an awesome power, like the power to ride the sun, and that it would be disastrous if it fell into the wrong hands.
Makes sense.
But looking back, knowing what we know now, in that story, I don't think Helios and Matheson is Helios anymore. It's Phaeton.
I see what you mean. Helios and Matheson wasn't ready for this responsibility. It didn't have the strength to offer millions of subscribers a movie per day for the low price of $9.95 a month. It couldn't handle MoviePass.
It got overwhelmed by the power it wielded
and was destroyed while trying to control it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, are we Zeus in this scenario? The third party who steps in to save the world?
I kind of like that.
So, what's next for you two? Got any new projects on the horizon?
That's a great question, TikTok star Addison Rae, and thanks so much for having us on your Disney Plus show. Well, MoviePass might be sadly gone, but Helios and Matheson is still out there. We have a strong feeling that some of those other buzzy tech startups with unethical business practices might all be the product of a very familiar ancient cult. Uber, WeWork, Airbnb. Let's just say that those executive boards might want to clean up their act before we get to them.
We also want to start one of those podcasts where the hosts talk about a single movie for like 8+ hours.
What a great way to burn through all that goodwill. When we come back, the question on everyone's mind, will I still be famous 1 year from now?
A wise man once said, "It is better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all." Though today MoviePass might exist only in the memories of those lucky enough to have experienced it, the app leaves behind a legacy of bold imagination, furious improvisation, and tremendous swagger. It hit the scene, made our lives better, and immediately disappeared again, like the Fetty Wap of movie subscription services. Was it a mistake? Who's to say? Maybe a copycat service will come along, save the movie theater industry, and not flame out within a couple years. They'd certainly be able to learn from the glorious run that MoviePass had.
The fact of the matter is, the only reason we're still talking about MoviePass today is because of the big swing it took, and the ludicrously cheap price point it stuck to. And something tells me we won't stop talking about it anytime soon. Who wouldn't consider that a victory?
Another wise man once said, "You learn so much more when you make a mistake." He believed it was best to be brave, be bold, and take big swings, even if the end result isn't quite what you had envisioned. He believed you can learn from mistakes and use the knowledge you gain to become better and better, stronger and stronger.
The first wise man that Zach just quoted was Alfred Lord Tennyson, British Poet Laureate under Queen Victoria. But the second? That was Mitch Lowe.
It is absolutely true. You learn so much more when you make a mistake or you fail.
Actually, Mitch Lowe.
For Blackout Dates, I'm Zach Gelfand.
And I'm Spencer Roth-Rose. Thanks for listening.
I need you boys to come with me.
Us?
Yes, you. Come with me now.
Who are you?
Come where?
Back to the future.
Wait a second. I I'd recognize that generic Eastern European accent anywhere. You're the security guard from episode 3, right? What are you doing in our studio?
Well, I wasn't planning on coming back, but I was told I was fan favorite, so I logged back onto Zencaster and plugged in my... What am I doing? There's no time for this. Quick, get in the car!
No, wait. We just wrapped. It was a long season. We're about to go head out to the Hamptons to blow off some steam.
No time! Here, watch your head on the suicide doors.
Hang on, SG. What happens in the future? What, do we become consultants or something?
No. You both turn out fine. It's your kids, boys. Something has got to be done about your kids.
You have kids? Aw, Zach.
Well, hey, if we're gonna continue the story, we have to go grab our mics.
Mics? Where we're going? Everything is already mic'd.
Blackout Dates is created by Zach Gelfand and Spencer Roth-Rose. It is produced by Ryan Cox and Andrew Perlman in association with Erudite Productions. Sound design by Zach Gelfand. Theme music by Alex Hahn. Additional music by Kevin MacLeod. Artwork by Madeline Godin. Publicity by Big Picture Media. Additional voices by Drew Zwetchkenbaum, Fallon Rower, Daniel Asa Rose, Willow Hawks, and Lydia Roberts.